it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV begins right now. Thanksgiving week. Hello, Ira. Hello, Corey. Hello, everybody. Yay, sausage!
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving indeed.
To everyone, including the Register sausage family.
We actually we had a little drama last week at our Publix.
Yeah.
We're in your Publix as well. And with the Register supply was a little depleted. I got a couple messages from people, again, because I'm in Register customer service.
Yeah.
And but man, I went in a couple I think it was 2 nights ago, Monday night.
Ooh.
And it was Sunday night.
Okay.
In fact, Kim was one of the people that was complaining.
I complained.
Well, and also Kim complained, which is a little bit more important to me.
Yeah, that's true.
And because she got some of her jambalaya in a box, you know how we do.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any andouille, and she went to Publix. They didn't have it, and so again, we put in a couple words. I went in Sunday night, or I think it was Sunday night. Packed it all.
Probably not there anymore, though.
It
flies off the shelf, so it's probably not there anymore.
Got my andouille, and so Kim was really excited because, again, it's just a box of jambalaya, but you put the andouille in it.
But it changes everything.
Restaurant quality.
Put it up next to eggs, changes your breakfast. It's
true.
just as good. Register is as good as it gets.
I think
legitimately, it's the best sausage in the world.
I think as mad as you get thinking about this Florida State football situation, that's as mad as our guy Sean, the OG headliner, elite headliner, gets when we say andouille.
Oh, really?
Andouille?
Hates it so much.
Andouille?
It's andouille.
Andouille, yeah.
But we say, I say andouille.
I say whatever I want to say.
I don't say a lot about andouille or andouille. I let you guys do it.
Your jalapeno cheddar.
Their anger is directed at you. I'm a jalapeno cheddar guy.
Yeah.
The jalapeno cheddar is money. But all the different varieties, go to your local grocery store. If they don't have it, please talk to the meat manager. Put in a word, tell them you want, and sometimes they'll just have a couple of varieties of the Register sausage.
You want them all.
You want the whole
gamut.
The whole.
I like the baby links too. Those are really good
phenomenal.
too.
They had those when I was
probably
there.
no promo code this weekend after that game Friday night, huh?
I think it was mostly just.
What about Norvell?
You know what he did?
Norvell 26. That's a good promo code.
He tweeted a video from the national championship game just to remind everybody of what this program is.
Or should be.
And then some people were like, well, wait a minute, is or was? Or,
Well, that would have been funny, Corey. I'm sure
the Norvell 26
he would have
promo?
loved. Yeah, I'm sure Registers would have been in the good graces of Florida State fans everywhere if he had promo code Norvell 26.
But if they thought he was doing it ironically, I think it would be funny.
Beat the Gators this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Beat the Gators this week, and we'll get a new promo code.
Bowl eligible.
And you don't need a promo code. Go to registermeats.com, have it delivered. And if Thanksgiving's coming up, get some Registers on the table. Maybe for some apps.
Somebody didn't know there was an jalapeno cheddar. There is indeed.
Man,
what are we doing?
Yeah, it's really good.
What are we doing? Hey, so I want to ask you, because I haven't had a chance to. So much has happened since the game on Friday night. We've been mainly talking about what the administration chose to do or not do. And I want to know what each of your all's reaction was the very moment the ball hit the helmet and flew back 40 yards to the punter.
I was thinking, well, here we go. Not only is this a break for Florida State, Kirkland's going to pick it up and run with it for a touchdown because that's what happens to Mike Norvell teams. No, you're dumbfounded. I don't think I said or muttered even a sound.
Did you say anything?
So what happened was,
did you chuckle?
Well, so without the benefit of watching on television, when you're in the press box, we knew it hit something and was going backwards.
Couldn't tell who.
And we could tell it was an off a Florida State player by the reaction. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we couldn't tell who.
Also, I thought they were going to recover it because NC State only had one guy there, and they had two guys running at it, and the punter got it.
What's amazing about that is, so I went back and watched Dave Doran's press conference, and he was talking about it. He's like, of all the guys on our team, the guy who doesn't want contact more than any, and he says this, he's like, you take our entire football team, the guy that least wants any contact in any situation is that kid. And so that's probably why he was back.
He was
30
back
years,
30 yards behind the ball.
He's not coming up.
You all, boys.
He's not coming up to make a tackle. But the ball bounces 20 yards this way. It was almost like a header. And again, this was until I went watch the replay and you see poor KJ Kirkland. He is literally, it looks like he's in a battle scene running for to get to the hills.
Yeah, he's trying to get off.
He's just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And instead it hits him right in the side of the head, heads it. And then that kid makes the dive. I honestly think you could take the best
That's a great
athletes,
fumble recovery.
the best athletes on that team.
Yeah.
Maybe like
bouncing
30% chance of sliding and making that recovery.
Like you said, he's a good punter, and that was the horrible punt. He just choked. He completely choked in a moment where his team needed him to pin the team deep inside the 10. He hits a 17-yarder that bounces back to him because his punt is so bad. And it's like, that's when I was like, well, that's the perfect way for this to end. Like, that's not Norvell's fault, but at some point, go get a coach that's luckier. You just got a bad luck coach, somebody that's cursed. I don't know what he did. I don't know what happened. I don't know what deal he made to get Jared Verse and to make Jordan Travis a really good quarterback, but he pissed off some people. He pissed off the football gods.
Well, this is bigger than Mike. That's the Raleigh curse. This goes back
you're
to
right.
Mike.
And he certainly can't fight through it.
No, he's not going to fight. He can't win a road game, let alone fight through this magnificent
what
curse.
A vortex it is up there.
Well, Life Spectator said in the chat that Helmet Karam actually beats the Heinzel fumble that bounced right back into his hands in stride. I mean, that's the thing. They have had just some awful luck. And to Corey's point, when he asked Mike Norvell, you guys have had some bad luck. A lot of these games could have gone one way or the other, the other way. But you're also, the problem is you're always on that line because you can't.
Yeah, you're always one or two plays away from winning, but maybe you should be so good that it doesn't come down to a ball off a helmet with 2 minutes to go.
But it has been an incredible season in terms of this is not to defend Mike Norvell or say that they're this close to winning or being 8-3, whatever, which, you can make that argument. It's just to say it is crazy. I mean, like every call that can go against them, touchdowns being overturned. I mean,
I thought the fumble being overturned was a little bizarre the other night. And then there was another fumble that they didn't review.
The one McCray's sack, the guy lands on his helmet and they blow the whistle right away. And it's like, well, are you sure that ball didn't come out? Why wouldn't you let the play go and then review it?
But then Tony White's like, well, we didn't recover it fast enough anyway, so there was no clear recovery.
Rolls 40 yards.
What can you do? What can you do? You just throw your hands up and laugh.
I didn't look
the extra or the kick, the field goal. I mean, it goes right over the goalpost. I don't know how.
I think that rule is it's good.
I don't know. And
I thought it was not good if it goes over the goalpost.
I think it's supposed to be good.
I thought they assumed that it's going to hit off it if it goes right over it.
Who knows? But my point is, it's just amazing how emphatic both officials are that it's no good.
No chance.
And
That's
that's way right.
Dead straight over the goalpost. I mean, it's just, again, man, it's just if it wasn't for bad luck, man, Mike Norvell would have none.
I didn't think of it in the moment that it hit Kirkland's helmet. I didn't think of it as it being a referendum on Mike. Like I've already come to that conclusion with Mike. I just thought it was the whole Raleigh thing. All I could think about. Oh,
really? I thought it was more of a Norvell thing. It didn't even strike me about the Raleigh thing.
Because I've already. Mike,
just because it's like and I looked at his reaction specifically.
Oh, I'm
as
sure
that play
he
happened.
was just like, really?
Maybe it was after the Squirrel White one where he kind of buckled to it, not buckled like Jimbo after the Burt Reed thing, but like
close.
It was close. Like, was that the Squirrel one or this one?
Well, remember, guys, the reason Jimbo buckled was he told
Burt to drop the ball.
To drop the ball.
It's crazy.
How many times did they work on
it? All the time.
And then here we get into the game, and the moment of truth happens, and you don't drop it intentionally. So like we practiced, guys.
So I watched you. It was like it reminded me of the Morlock play against SMU, where like Norvell, with good reason, is like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Like, and then now we've had 15 games in between that, and still this crazy stuff keeps happening to his team. And again, crazy stuff happens to every team. If he had a better team, it wouldn't come down to a ball bouncing off a kid's head, but it did. And it's like, of course, not only did it bounce right back to the punter makes the all-time most athletic play he's ever made, beating two Division I safeties trying to race to the ball, and he somehow gets it.
And he knows they're going to be diving at him.
Yeah, he's going to get him.
So that doesn't want contact.
That moment he had to swallow and be like,
and also
right,
like
here we go.
The worst punt of his career. But then the defense comes out, shows a little heart, gets the ball back, And then because you haven't been able to identify a punt returner in years, that's a Mike Norvell issue right there. I know Squirrel needs to catch the ball, but come on, he didn't look comfortable in any of the balls he caught that night. And then the ball hits off his face mask. That is not bad luck. That's bad identifying
they've
talent.
had a problem at special teams for some time, and we've talked about that. And
so it's the full gamut of, man, that's a really bad luck. And then also, well, why don't you have anybody back there that ever looks confident and comfortable catching a punt?
No, it's a toughie, man. And I think what happens is we get into a place where everybody wants to be able to clearly define exactly what ought to be, what has to happen, what can fix this. And we know it's more nuanced than that. And then just blood pressure goes up and the frustration. I worry eventually about indifference and apathy. We'll see. We got a lot of time between now and then. I
heard you saying that. I know that is a risk, or that's
it happened with Bowden and it happened with others over time. You see it.
If this team gets good again, the fans will rush back.
Oh, well, I'm not saying fans have decided to never come back and watch Florida State football. I'm saying that they're not good and they haven't been good for 2 years.
I do think the difference in the era, though, is you can change a roster.
Yeah. I mean, Indiana had college game day there at least once this year, maybe twice, and Georgia Tech had game day. Like all it takes is a team, one team. I mean, this fan base was over the moon 2 months ago after the disaster of last year. So you have to go earn it, though. It's not like in perpetuity that you get this great fan base that's going to buy season tickets all the time. But as soon as you have a good start to a season, again, which, by the way, did you know the Alabama game next year isn't the season opener?
It's the third game of the year.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I thought they were opening in Tuscaloosa, and I'm like, good luck, Mike. Okay, so that's it. That's a positive. But if you start out next season 2-0, look pretty good doing it, have a quarterback that can play, there won't be apathy. It's Florida State, man. It is a very passionate fan base.
From a big picture standpoint, in that topic, you look at the teams that have had success this year or the last couple of years. Everybody is down on the transfer portal because of what happened last year. But the teams that make runs now, other than Ohio State and Georgia, and they do transfer portal work as well. And a lot of times it's super important players.
Yeah, like Caleb Downs.
Yeah, but even the schools that make the Indiana, Arizona State last year, Virginia this year, Texas Tech. I mean, these teams that are doing it through the portal, it's not always necessarily going and outspending everybody. It's just making the right signings. Like Virginia, they run like 30 transfers. Well, they hit on a lot of them, including the quarterback. I mean, that's the whole thing. And so what I would say is you have a chance every year because of the way this sport works. Now, my concern with Mike Norvell, and the reason I said it after the game when we did the wrap on Friday night, was when you see the way they find ways to lose, that concerns you that, okay, maybe this guy can't get them to the level they need to be at anymore. Maybe it's just this particular team. But that, to me, I believe they're going to make changes. I don't think it's going to be lip service. I think they are going to do some things, bring in better people, do a better, at least effort to do a better job in terms of scouting and evaluation, which is all super important. And they got to get on that quickly because the portal's just a month away.
This GM that they're going to hire, I guess that's what is.
Well, and I think it might be it might be several people.
It might be a crew.
I mean, it's not going to be in time for the portal, right?
Well, the portal's January 5th. Like you got time.
And that's just the deadline to go in. I mean, that's when they start going in. But guys
most
don't
of these
have
decisions
to.
are made already. I mean, the agents have already steered everybody.
Anyway, my point is, we'll see how that works. But most importantly, and the reason I was so down about him after that game was, you just start feeling like, okay, are these guys? Are they at a place being led by Mike Norvell where they don't think that they can win? And because that could be a thing where the guys who stay, is that going to carry over? And to me, that's as big as anything else. Like, can he get these guys to believe? Now, getting the right quarterback can change all that.
Yep.
I've said it a bunch of times. There's a lot of guys in that football team in 2012 that were not convinced Jimbo was the right guy because of the way they lost the NC State and Florida games. But then once you got Jameis playing and you do what he did at Pitt, now everybody's on board, and those guys will tell you Jimbo's the greatest coach of all time. But in 2012,
make it more relevant to this program with this coach. In 2021, I don't think many of those guys thought Norvell was a great coach. Then all of a sudden he gets a really good quarterback. They go – I mean, when they gave Mike Norvell that extension, they were 27-4 in their last 31 games. I mean, it's crazy that not that long ago we covered a program that was 27-4. And it was much of it was because of the quarterback and the belief in the quarterback, more so than the head coach, in my opinion, especially looking back in hindsight. So, yeah, man, go get a quarterback. Go get a quarterback that you believe in that also can go make plays with his right arm. It'd be cool if he can run too. Those are nice, but please go get a quarterback that can make the throws.
What makes it difficult to believe in is that he's failed miserably at the assessment of quarterbacks over and over again.
Yeah.
He has failed miserably.
Yeah.
So there's no reason that I think he can go out there, identify the right one, and bring him in.
Well, I mean, I think the thought is if you do bring in somebody who's –
so they're going to do it?
Maybe.
So Mike's
it's not like they're not saying – they've come out and saying scouting and player acquisition, like that's where their focus is going to be.
So they're going to bring in a GM in the next few weeks, and that person's going to identify a quarterback.
What if they get a quarterback that's unmistakable, like it's undeniable? Like there are those out there too, where it doesn't take a great quarterback guru.
$3 and $5 million.
Man,
where's that coming from?
You just save some money.
No, that's not. No, they're still going to have to spend it, and they're not going to look at it as we saved money by not firing this guy. Therefore, we're going to conjure up $5 million and give it to a quarterback. That's not what they're going to do.
Well, they should.
Well, we can talk about what ought to be.
Yeah, they should. We'll see. We're saying that now. I don't think
it's not like Carson Beck's the only transfer quarterback that's had success.
No, there's 30 other quarterbacks right now that I would have chosen over this one, but this guy chose this one.
Yeah,
and he always makes the wrong decision.
Then it's not a money issue.
Well,
because is it the money issue?
No, I was saying that you go get an undeniable one, and those cost money.
Those tend to cost a lot of money.
I don't think the kid at Virginia cost $4 million.
Yeah, well, he wasn't undeniable. I'm saying like you go get a Mensa.
He threw for a zillion yards.
You go get him. Well, but at North Texas, you go get a Mensa is undeniable, or you go get a Mendoza, or the kid at Cal because they just fired their coach.
But
those guys are undeniable. But I get what you're saying. There's two different. But there are very good quarterbacks out there that won't cost that either. Mm-hmm. But as Ira's pointing out, as Jeff is pointing out, who's gonna determine who that best quarterback is for this team, because this guy's track record is abysmal. So that's what you hope. You get somebody in here who can identify a real quarterback, because quarterback is everything. It's everything. It's everything. If they had CJ Bailey at quarterback this year, they'd have 8 or 9 wins.
It's more than
right. I know
matters,
there's more to it.
There's a lot more to it, and it does matter. Obviously, I'm not a fool. Quarterbacks matter. But the quarterback that might win the Heisman is considered the best in the country, didn't win a damn thing at Cal. I mean, you got to have more than just a quarterback.
Yeah.
You have to have other pieces. And right now they're going to have to go out and get an all-new offensive line again, or at least 2 tackles. You're going to have to go replace the defensive ends. You don't have a rush in. You're going to have to go get 2 starting linebackers. You're going to have to
At least you're not having to do that after just spending $60 million.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You're not going to spend. They wouldn't have spent $60 million. They would have spent $30
million.
They would have spent $9.
No, I think a big chunk of it
would have
has
been
to go
itemized. Well, I don't think that. What do you think? 30 million? I don't think so.
I don't know exactly the number.
I don't believe that was it.
I don't think it would have been.
But it also be the money you're paying.
They had till 31.
But it's also you pay all these coaches to leave. You pay all the coaches to come in. That's a big, huge chunk of
what they have to hope for now, by the way, on that note, is that both these dudes leave on their own accord.
But then you don't have to pay them.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what they're hoping for.
If you brought in a new head coach, you would have to pay them.
No, they're going to play a game of chicken, in my estimation, and wait to see if Gus takes another job or quits, and that Tony White leaves, and then I think Mike's head goes right back on the chopping block after next year.
Probably. I think it's on the chopping block. Yeah, I don't think
it should have already happened,
but it didn't. So you are where you are, and there is a path, an easy one, to be competent in the ACC. To be competent, to not be this. Now, there's a certain sect of people that think that this guy can't do it. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand that sentiment because this has been dreadful. This is inexcusable. But we don't know what this roster is going to be at all. We have no idea. You said they have to go get a bunch of guys, and they do. They might get good guys. They might go decide Diggs isn't the kind of guy we're looking for on the defensive line, or we want somebody better than Jenkins. And you're going to have to spend money, but by God, you need to spend money. You've got to spend money. There's no other alternative now. You can't run this back.
I want to know where that money's coming from.
I mean, I guess I know they're the poorest school in the country, and let's hope they can get a roster that's as good as Virginia's or Pitt's. But I bet they can. So there is an avenue where they can compete in the ACC. It does not take a miracle to make this roster competitive. It takes better evaluation. Absolutely.
This was a competitive roster.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there's 1 or 2 games where I felt like, oh man,
they weren't competitive against Miami.
Right. Yeah. Clemson, they were down 18-0, but it wasn't like they were blown off the field. They just played horribly because They play horrible.
Well, that's what's the reason that people have real doubt that this.
But I don't think, going back to Ira's point, I don't think this roster is dreadful. 2024's roster was abysmal. It was a joke. It was a mid-70s roster. This roster was good enough to compete in the ACC, and it was coached poorly.
Yes.
But again, so that could be the issue again next year, clearly.
Yes.
But also, if at least you have the means to have a competitive roster. And probably after this season, man, I just think you up the ante. You have no choice. You can't just stand pat and put the same amount of resources into this roster like you did last year.
This sparks a much bigger conversation, which is the belief about what an NIL is and how it's enforced and where that money's coming from that you're talking about, Corey. I'd like to know where they're going to get all that money for this roster.
Norvell. Well, he needs to pay. He needs to back channel deal. I don't care.
Because
what would you do, Ira?
You're right. There isn't an appetite from the major money boosters to give because they don't believe this group can get it right. Well, they're tired of giving to watch this product.
They didn't want to give, I don't think, to fire him, but I don't think that people have just shut down giving completely. I mean, I know that you will hear stories about individual people, and some of the people who are doing the fundraising are not very happy right now because it's a hell of a lot easier to sell and raise funds when you've got a new product. So I'm sure they're miserable.
Oh,
but that doesn't mean you just close shop. You got to figure out a way to raise money.
Well, I'm going to be very curious to see if they can. I think their job just got a lot harder. But the
revenue sharing part is guaranteed.
Standard.
Okay,
that's
standard. All right.
That's everybody.
Okay, and I'm getting there. Revenue sharing is guaranteed. The next question is the NIL piece.
Yes.
And so to your point, Mike, I think what Michael offered, and I'm not speaking for him, and he's made some comments that he maybe wishes he gave back. His point was it's not just an open market now where you can just hand money to players and write checks because it's just the Wild West. You got to be creative with it. Now, from what I understand, there are schools that have been very creative with how that money is going to go from businesses to athletes. Like I was told about one school that's created a business plan where they're telling all of their partners, all their financial partners, there's a business that provides certain services. So if you use that company, they're going to put money into NIL into players. And that's a way to get that money back into the program. If you're a business owner, instead of just saying, I'm going to give $300,000 to Deuce Robinson, maybe you have to start working with that company, and then they're going to give a portion of their thing towards NIL opportunities that might make sense that maybe wouldn't with the other customers. There's ways to structure it to make it happen. I'm not telling you they've got it wired or they know what they're doing. What I'm telling you is that's what they have to figure out.
I feel like this is the perfect time to. I mean, I wanted to save it till after the Florida game, but we can make the announcement. Warchant's new senior writer is Darian Mensah. So you welcome everyone. He's coming on board. It's a lot of money. Gene's all in, and we've got a new senior writer. His name's Darian Mensah, very good quarterback.
Got $4 million laying around.
Yes, he does. He wants his team to be good too.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Picture this: it's midnight and you're lying in bed, scrolling through this new website you found, hitting the Add to Cart button on that item you've been looking for. After 15 minutes. You decide you've done enough damage to your wallet and decide to check out. But you remember that your wallet or credit card is in the living room and you don't want to get out of bed to go get it. Just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it. That purple shop button. That shop button that has all of your payment and shipping information saved, saving you time while you stay warm in your bed. That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier, from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Seminole headlines to brands just getting started. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about all the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/warchant. Go to shopify.com/warchant. Shopify.com/warchant.
$15,000 off. Not some QX80 autographs, not up to $15,000. You save $15,000 on all remaining 2025 QX80s at Infinity of Tallahassee.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Swain Pools and Spas is your pool and spa everything store. Swain sells them, Swain repairs them, Swain renovates them, Swain services them. Swain even has pool and spa supplies. And they'll test your water too. Nobody, and I mean nobody, knows more about pools and spas than Swain. Almost 40 years of quality, reliability, and service. Look for the big Swain sign on Tharp Street. Call them at 386-7113 or online at swainpools.com.
Injured? Call Basic Brooks and come back stronger. Offices, Tallahassee.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I do want to know, for as much as, I mean, we can talk about what will or will not work and guess all of that, and obviously it's self-evident that they didn't want to spend the money, and Mike's back, and so that's not going to change. I do want to know, and when we would know if we don't already, the timeline for these changes and when you're going to hear about the next big thing to drop. Because if you make that, you release that statement and you tell everybody, as they did in that statement, that all of these changes are coming. To me, you're telling everybody in that moment that you think the money would be better spent elsewhere than firing Mike. Okay, right. So now time is of the essence. We do need to see how this is going to play out and how quickly they can get somebody in here making major decisions. I mean, there's a lot to do here between now and the start of next year.
Do y'all think?
Can I say one thing real quick? It's not just the money. I mean, the money's a huge part of it. The other part of it is I don't believe they felt they had a good candidate that from the conversations they were already having behind the scenes with agents that they felt strongly about that was going to definitely be the answer. So it's the combination of the two. If they could have spent $60 million and knew they could get Lane Kiffin or whatever the slam dunk is out there, and I don't know that there's a lot of slam dunks out there, then I think maybe they would have done it. But that's not there. So that's part of it too. I just want to bring that up.
Do we think when they announce like a GM or an overhaul that it'll be like a big name?
Well,
there are a lot of big names in like college player personnel acquisition.
It's more the resume that would get you excited than the name.
But even then, it's like it's a different type of resume. Like you could give me John Lynch. That would be awesome. But when has he ever been at a high school trying to determine or decipher talent? Like I know he knows it, but he's looking at 23-year-olds coming into the draft, not 17-year-olds becoming college kids. So
I also want to know how it's going to work.
I do too. I want all that, and I don't even know if we'll ever get a
is Mike
true
reporting
hierarchy.
to the GM? Is the GM telling Mike this is the way it's going to be?
I think the signing day, if they have they're 14th in the country right now. If they finish with a top 15 class, that gets you a little positive momentum, especially if they can keep these guys and maybe add one or two more. Timmons kid could always flip back. That'd be nice. And then I think the excitement would come when it comes is the announcements of portal additions, but that won't be till January. But I mean, I think you can get really our guys that are staying. That could get you excited. If Deuce decides he's coming back and pulls a Jared Verse, then that would get people excited. The Desir twins announcing they're coming back. All that stuff would get you a little positive momentum. But other than that, I think it's going to be when the quarterback is named, who's the quarterback. And I was going to ask you all this. How much? I think in the NFL, the quarterback is like 27% of the roster salary cap.
So it depends on a lot of times you don't want any three players to make up 40% or more of your salary cap. And a star quarterback will skew it to that level where you have, let's say, a Mahomes, where he'll account personally for 25 to 30% of the cap because they recognize they had a generational talent.
Or a Kirk Cousins.
So they realized they had a generational talent that they could build around because that guy is going to be there for 10, 15 years and possibly win you Super Bowls as he has. Other places, it's a little less than that. But yes, if you're talking about the allocation of funds, if you find the quarterback, which we know every team is desperately searching for and it's hit or miss in the draft, but if you recognize that you have one, a lot of times they're going to be 25 to 30% of your cap.
Yeah. So again, that could get people excited real quick, depending on who that person is.
So which of the coaches, and there's coaches I know you were interested in, you're interested in the market, like who would you have felt, yes, it's worth it, $60 million, it's worth it to go hire them, knowing that maybe in 2 or 3 years, we might have to make another change while we're still paying off $60 million. Like who would you have felt? Yes, definitely. Because it's easy. My point is it's easy to say, we don't want this guy anymore. It's a little bit more difficult to say, yes, fire him, pay him $60 million and not know exactly what you're getting. I think that's something that needs to be discussed.
Well, I think we all admitted,
or at least addressed, or at least appreciated that that's a factor.
Whether there's not like somebody that's right on deck that would be awesome.
Because all I see on our message boards and a lot of people on Twitter was Jimbo Fisher, which is, especially after that game Friday night, it's like, man, you can't tell me that you want to be a serious football program and these people are not serious about football and you want Jimbo Fisher because the guy has not coached in 10 years. And look at all these coaching lists. Well, he hasn't had success in 10 years.
Yeah.
And if you look at all of these lists, if you look at all of these jobs that are out there, his name's never mentioned for any of them, even though he's been politicking to get back into coaching.
Yeah, I don't take those people seriously online.
Well, I'm just telling you.
But I'm saying I don't.
That if you want, that was.
I think
deafening.
I think the answer to that, though, Ira, is anybody not named Mike Norvell.
I get
it. I know what you're saying, but you can also understand the other side is like this. When you bring somebody back after this, you're in a way are telling them we don't think we can do better than this, which is crazy because the three of us would have had the record that Mike Norvell had the last 2 years if we were coaching. We couldn't have been worse. So that's the problem is like, so when you have two horrible seasons.
But when you owe somebody $60 million,
that's a huge,
and you're going to be paying them off for several years, and then you hire somebody else, then you end up like Auburn and Florida, where you're paying multiple head coaches. That's not a solution.
Fans don't care about that. It's not
part
their
of
money.
our job to kind of educate people.
But I'm saying if you're asking fans, they're like anybody but this guy.
Sure.
Because it's not their money.
But they have to make a decision. That's my point, man. It is so easy for everybody to say what they should do when none of us have to come up with the money and raise money and all the things you're talking about.
I also think you made that commitment to a level of excellence in the last 50 years that you are going to be part of big boy college football. And sometimes you're going to be on the wrong side of it and you have to make difficult choices. Yeah. And that's part of being in the game when you put your chips to the middle of the table. Like they
screwed it up and they're playing the hand. They're still playing the hand, even though they're drawing dead in a lot of people's eyes.
Only one school in the history of college football has spent anything remotely close to that amount of money in a buyout.
Right.
So to say you're not serious because you won't do it, nobody's done that before. I mean, this is an insane amount of money. And I just feel like that for a not knowing exactly what you're going to get.
And I think I would make this point. I don't think if they hired Alex Golesh tomorrow, that guarantees that they're 20. They're 20. No. Let me finish. I don't think their 2026 is destined to be better than with this guy at the helm. My concern with Mike Norvell, I think he can get this program at least, I don't know, competing for an ACC championship. I don't know. I don't maybe trust the guy that he's elite, clearly. And he could get you back to respectability next year if you give him all this stuff. But what is his ceiling? What is his ceiling? Because if you have a floor that's this low, I don't know that your ceiling is as high as Florida State needs to be. But in the short term, there ain't nobody out there that I'm like, absolutely, they'd be better next year without. Yeah,
no, there are no guarantees. Yeah. I don't think Lane's a guarantee.
No, right.
Agree.
Yeah.
But Brian Kelly wasn't a guarantee.
Right. No, I don't think that there are any guarantees. We've moved away from that iconoclast era where that coach is a guarantee because of the players that they can attract and accumulate, stockpile, if you will.
So it kind of sucks that but Florida State hasn't. If they fired this guy, it kind of they did it. They did it to themselves. But it's like, okay, so you're going to pay this guy that much money not to coach. That's golly. The mistake obviously was what happened 2 years ago. I understand why they did it, and I know. And I agree. I know that graphic that said they don't care about you that you ran on your show yesterday, which is true. This is not a decision for the fans.
Clearly.
At all. The one 2 years ago was all about the fans. And it backfired immensely. 100%. You got snubbed by Alabama. Mm-hmm. You felt less than. Your whole fan base felt less than. You wore a 60-point beating. And then the head coach that's 27-4 in his last 31 games uses Florida State, blue blood Florida State, as a stepping stone to Alabama, who just took your spot in the playoff. They didn't want their fans to feel that, the indignity of that. So they made a horrible decision to give him that extension with that crazy buyout. But that was for the fans. That was for the fans. They didn't want the fans to feel betrayed, angry, depressed again, that not only did they lose that spot to Alabama, they just lost their coach to Alabama.
I think they thought that Mike was a good coach.
That too.
I don't think they sat around and went, man, I'm really worried about Jimmy. I think they thought Mike Norvell's a good coach, and I don't want to lose him.
But I do think the optics.
If it would have been Texas coming for Norvell, I think it's even different if Texas is coming for Norvell. I think it's Alabama, that team. And he's the only good thing you got going at that time is like, well, at least you got a really good head coach that's gone 27-4 in his last 31 games. We have to keep him at all costs. Because if they would have let him go to Alabama, you want to talk about they don't care about you, they're not serious about football, they just let their head coach walk. They're really good head coach in their mind. So that got them in trouble 2 years ago.
You were already the laughingstock.
Yeah, man. It was awful. Yeah. It was awful.
So that, and then the other part of it is, and again, I know nobody wants to hear this because we're not in their shoes. And so all we care about is my football team stinks, fix it. And I know this is an Orioles fan. Brandon Hyde, was the manager of the last.
Thank God you don't have to worry about that as a Pirates fan.
But my point is,
you talk about apathy.
Watching a team come in as predicted to be a World Series favorite, certainly a contender, be 30 games under 500, and you're like, I used to like this guy. I want him gone. I get that. And if they decided to bring him back, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I'd be furious. So I get where people are coming from. What I would say this, though.
Well, they didn't owe him $50 million.
No, for sure they didn't. Well, because that doesn't happen in pro sports. They don't hold you hostage the way they do in college football. But the thing I was going to say is, if you are the people making the decision, I think we all know that there's 3 people named on that email. They all had a quote, and they're all in it together. And those are the 3 people that I believe had votes at the end. They took input from other people, but those are people that
Norvell might have had a vote too.
No, okay. But Peter Collins, I think, is the chairman of the board of trustees. He gets the biggest vote. But the point is, they're the easiest thing to do, and people don't want to hear this because they're just mad. But if you think about it, the easiest thing for them to do politically, in terms of their reputation, publicly, would be to fire him, because that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants. And the reality is, Michael Alford probably won't be here when that money's getting paid off. President McCullough may not be there when that money's getting paid off. Peter Collins, I think he's in his last term, and he's got like another year and a half left. He probably wouldn't be in that position.
But he's a knoll.
He is a huge knoll. Yeah. And so the harder decision is, while you're in that seat, to say no, even though this is what everybody wants, we know the numbers. We know what it looks like in terms of ticket sales. We know what it looks like in terms of contributions. We know what it looks like in terms of paying off that money. The smarter decision for our school is to not do that right now, because there's not a proven point. That is the harder thing to do.
Let me ask you this, though.
We're not serious. That's the harder decision. I'm not saying they're going to get it right. I just think it's false to say they don't care or they're not serious about football, which is what a lot of people.
Well, the serious about football, I don't like that much. But would you have fired him? Just you personally.
Tom asked me that last night also. The problem with answering that question, if all things are being equal, yes. Because I do worry that the team is not going to play with the heart in
That's all they play with. Jeff.
If they don't believe.
This is all they play with.
Listen, man, I've said this a million times. I really do think the head coach, and we've get on the topic about whether or not you're being stripped of your responsibilities. The head coach has to be the one that kind of galvanizes the team to play together, builds all those relationships so they're playing for each other. And so that's super important. And I am worried about that. But I don't know the numbers, and that's the thing. We know what $58 million sounds like. And the more we say it, the more we can get comfortable with it. But my point is, I don't know what those numbers actually look like.
Taking the money and all that out of the equation.
That's ridiculous. I can't.
I'm saying if you could, he wouldn't be your head coach next year. Yeah, I want people to understand that. Because what happens sometimes is we come at it from this angle as if we don't care about wins and losses and we think Mike Norvell is a good coach. Mike Norvell, you could argue, has been the worst coach in the country the last 2 years, and he's still at Florida State. That's really hard to get behind.
They've won 18% of their ACC games in the last 2 years.
Yeah, a tough schedule. By the way, ACC's got 5 teams ranked now, and including Notre Dame, that's 6. It's gross. There's no defending it.
It's beyond reason. It's absurd.
The biggest mistake in hindsight, and again, I think it has to be in hindsight because when it happened at the time, people were elated. Florida State fans were elated that he stayed.
That was a decision with 100% approval rating.
Yes, yeah, and y'all were all idiots. And so were we, because we gave it an approval rating. We had no idea this was coming, but it has come. And this is disgusting. And Florida State fans deserve better than this. And I want them to know, I want all y'all to know that we hear you. This isn't right and this isn't normal. And it needs to be changed. And maybe this guy can make it better next year, or maybe they suck again and he's gone after next year. But this can't last because Florida State deserves better than this. And Florida State is better than this.
We have to take a break, but I was going to ask you if you thought that announcement meant that he had at least 2 years.
No.
So it's more palatable for the 40 whatever million?
No, I don't think it's palatable at all, but I think it gives him a runway to get it right. And if there's no trajectory at all that this thing is, if it still looks the same and you still got balls bouncing off guys' heads.
You think if it's clear they're dysfunctional, they can't do anything right, they lose 10 games next year,
you're not
they're going to bring it back?
That's not I don't think that's in this year.
They're hoping it doesn't happen. That was my issue with, and we can talk about it next segment, but Andy Staples' article was presuming that they're not going to get, that it's going to be a bad year. It's going to be a terrible year. And then they're stuck. Well, it's like, that's not a guarantee in this world
especially
anymore.
Now that Mintz is on board. Guys, I don't think people understood. I hope people have written the story. It's on our site right now. Darian Mensah.
He's on board.
He's not playing. He's just a Warchant contributor.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
With Thanksgiving later this week, hundreds of families in Leon County will now have everything they need for a traditional holiday meal thanks to the 3rd annual Blessing Basket giveaway. Organizer Kelly Vinson, a former Big Bend teacher turned real estate agent, launched the effort after seeing the challenges many families face. This year, she expanded the giveaway to all elementary schools in Leon County compared to just 6 last year. Her original goal was 280 baskets, but community members surpassed it by donating 313. Guidance counselors and school administrators picked up the baskets, each filled with all the ingredients for a full Thanksgiving feast. Vincent says she hopes to expand the giveaway to include surrounding counties in the coming years. A burn ban has been declared in Leon County amid continued exceptional drought conditions. Leon County emergency management officials and the Florida Forest Service will monitor the fire danger and drought conditions and will update the ban as needed. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 82 this afternoon under mainly clear skies. Winds out of the south, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Slight chance of rain showers. Lows level off around 67. Cloudy skies expected tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 77. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 78 degrees.
Looking to upgrade your backyard, your business, or even your life? Then you've got to check out Southeast Portable Buildings right here in Tallahassee.
That's right. Southeast Portable Buildings has everything. Sheds, cabins, carports, and now beautiful decks to go with them.
Imagine a brand new storage building and a deck out front. perfect for that morning coffee or for your family gatherings.
Need something custom? No problem. They'll work with you to find exactly what fits your needs, big or small, simple or stylish.
And with easy financing options, you can make your dream space happen sooner than you think.
Southeast Portable Buildings, where you're not just getting a building, you're getting a lifestyle upgrade. Give our friends a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400.
Southeast Portable Buildings.
Big buildings.
Big decks.
Big dreams.
Southeast Portable Buildings on West Tennessee Street, just north of Capitol Circle in Tallahassee.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Brutal week that it is Florida State, Florida, and it's a game that nobody cares about. It sucks. That's tough. Just an observation.
3-8 versus 5-7, man.
5-6, Ira. They haven't lost yet.
He's right, 5-7.
Well, that was
4-8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. I don't know that it can get any worse, but when you lose to a 3-win Florida team, probably convincingly, that'll be a toughie.
It's a sod game. I mean, all Florida games are sod games, but it's a sod game.
I don't know. I would say I would not predict they're going to lose convincingly because there's just as much as we could say we don't expect anything.
They
out of
don't
Florida
typically
State.
lose convincingly. They just lose.
And I also don't. There's no way to know what that Florida team's going to do. Because we thought, they rise up against their rivals, but then they let Tennessee get out to like a 30-point lead in the first quarter. So It wasn't exactly. They didn't rise up to that rivalry game, and they've got a ton of injuries. I mean, they're not. They were one of the most talented teams in the country. I'm not sure that they still are.
What are the odds that Kiffin stays at Ole Miss and he's done this to two, just as the ultimate Spurrier villain move? He's dragged these two programs along for a month and then leaves them both at the altar to stay at Ole Miss just because they're rivals and he can screw with them because he's Lane Kiffin.
Well, and also because of what we've described already, which is the massive changes in college football. I mean, I feel like he has to leave.
No, I don't think he does, or he would have already announced it. But he's about to be in the playoff.
But his point is he didn't have to turn this into.
He didn't have to turn this into a month long promenade down the avenue, saying, "Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go?" I think it would be crazy if he left now. But it would be so awesome if he led both programs to believe he was going there, and then just stayed at Ole Miss, and they're sitting there with. Okay, now what do we do? It's signing day, and we don't have a coach.
Whatever happens, two of those schools are going to be miserable because they're going to go from believing, all three of them believe they're getting Lane Kiffin. They're going to go from that to John Summerall or Brent Key. I mean, I don't think
Brent Key's going to leave, but I know what your point is.
Yeah, whatever it is, it ain't going to be what they were thinking they were getting.
Yeah, Florida was sure they had Lane.
Yeah.
And
they still might, I guess.
They could. I have no idea. Yeah, they were sure they had Lane, but then it became I'm sure they got very nervous when Brian Kelly got fired, and they went great.
Yeah.
Now we got to compete with LSU, who's insane.
But it would be weird because Lane's proven he can beat both those programs at Ole Miss. So what do you need him for? Ole Miss can go win a national championship now in this day and age. So can Texas Tech. Go look at the top 15 in the country.
Well, this is where we get back to the conversation about the way that NIL is going to have to be viewed differently here. When you see schools openly discussing as a lure to Lane that they'll have $30 million to spend on football, they're advocating for something that is supposed to not be allowed under the current agreement.
I do think that I think it's going to be structured in a way to where they're getting around the rules. And that was the point I was trying to make earlier. You've got to be creative about it. In those business deals, they do have to be business deals. You can't just promise money and pay it,
especially not publicly like LSU.
I know what that money, numbers are out there.
Yes,
but I'm telling you, I bet you they're circumventing the rules by being creative.
Well, they are,
and you have to do that.
Sure,
yeah,
right.
But this is what people have been trying to tell the current athletic director here: is, hey, man, nobody's following these rules. Mm-hmm. They're all finding ways to get around them, and they're brazen about it.
And if
there's nothing to keep somebody from paying a kid's parents money. mean, like they can move it around. They are doing it.
I would say
everywhere.
let's go under the theory that Michael Alford is trying to play strictly by the rules and doing exactly what's said.
Well,
and
he
nothing
has stated that publicly, that he believes that is what's going to be the future of NIL.
The future, but in the immediate, he is the least popular athletic director in the conference and maybe in the country. He's also got the least popular head football coach currently employed in the country. He needs to do whatever it takes to make sure that he gets the roster. And I don't think Michael Alford is so dumb or obtuse. I don't think he's dumb at all. I don't know why I said it like he's so dumb. He's not dumb or obtuse enough to think that I don't care. I know all this noise, but I'm going to do the strict and narrow and do it. No, man, you've got to do whatever it takes short of mob hits to make sure that your football program is really good next season.
Well, and to me, again, it's kind of like the same conversation with people that want to blame Derek Ray for this roster. Man, blame Mike Norvell. Don't blame people underneath it.
I do.
No, I mean, that's my point.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this. Michael Alford's the athletic director. He doesn't get to decide everything. So there are people watching this that have conversations with Peter Collins. There are people watching that have conversations with Richard McCullough and different people, different power brokers. Yeah, man, I'm not telling you to go behind their back and do what you got to do. But if you need to make sure, as a stakeholder, if you're a board of trustee member, if
look right in the camera.
Drew Weatherford's on the board of trustees,
yes.
Peter Collins, all those people, they need to be asking these questions. Are we playing by a different set of rules? Because they can read those articles too. So my point is, I don't care that Michael Alford may think what he thinks. There's a lot of people above him who need to be the ones to make sure that Florida State's doing whatever they have to do to be competitive.
That's a challenge, everyone.
I've advocated for that for some time now. As those concerns became more and more vocalized by certain people and expressed, even as those quotes became more and more public from Alford, I was like, whoa, what are you? That's not how this is getting done. I mean, LSU finds a way.
Now, I think most of those quotes were as it was getting to this era. I don't think it's since other people have been saying what they've been saying.
Yeah, it wasn't since LSU enticed Kiffin with a $25 million roster.
All I'm saying is we now know the deal. Like these schools are not following these
Ask
rules.
for forgiveness.
And it's not something that they're going to, I've heard conversations where he said, well, there's a chance that these schools retroactively will be punished for having broken the. That is never going to happen, first of all. Secondly, I would dare say, like, look, okay, so we'll use LSU since they're in the news all the time. They pay out the ass to have the best baseball team in America. They have a crazy head women's basketball coach, and they pay for that roster huge.
Yeah.
They're offering up $33 million to get Lane Kiffin to come over just for football. They're saying it out loud. They're not being quiet about it, right? They're saying so. They're not on the cusp of being punished anytime soon, and there are other schools who do just what they do. They're not as crazy to say it out loud, but they do it. They do it all. Look what Texas Tech just did.
Yeah, but the in the rear view, none of this was in place yet. Is my point. This is all going forward.
Yeah.
In August, when they were in preseason camp, the revenue sharing hadn't been approved yet.
Right.
So this is all theoretically going forward, and what they're projecting. I think again, when the rules were put into place, it's fine to say we're going to follow those rules. But now if everybody's figured out ways to go around it and they're not going to do it, you have to adjust to that reality. And we have to see if they can.
And it has to happen like in an hour.
It has to happen now. It has to happen now. Time is of the essence after this season.
And then you got to figure out, where you're going to get the money to buy the roster you're talking about. So to guarantee that this guy who's, lost his way, let's just put it that way, Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
To guarantee that this guy can't screw it up, you're going to have a loaded roster. You know how much you have to replace right now already? Like, I want to know where that money's coming from. And maybe somebody's out there. Maybe the Spanx lady will do it. Who knows?
Well, the other thing is 20 million of it is already there. Or 17 million, whatever the revenue share for football is going to be. So when these numbers of $30 million put out there, it's not 30 million on top of the 17.
It's probably the same number that you'd be paying that coaching staff to leave this year. It's the exact same number. Where were you going to get that money? Same people, right? I mean,
no, you can there's lots of ways to do that, but
there's lots of ways to do this. Like you go get Florida State fans that they can say, I don't believe in this guy. Well, they're Florida State fans. Who believed in Cristobal? They still gave him a quarterback 2 years in a row. Who believed in Joey McGuire? He's got the best defensive roster in the country. Like, you can go find fans out there that are willing to pay for good players as opposed to paying for a coach to leave.
Well, but they've been asked time and again for money.
That's life. That's how it works here.
We agree.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the pragmatic view of where we're at. They don't trust that this guy is going to do with their money what they thought he was going to do, what they hoped he would do. He's now failed miserably these last 2 years. They don't have faith in him, so they don't want to write that check.
Yeah, and they didn't want to write the checks to make him go away.
Yeah,
either.
I mean,
so you're
they
in
didn't want to do that either.
No, you can finance that. First of all, it's a line item. It's $9 million a year. They're not going to spend $60 million
But it's $9 million a year plus White and Malzahn.
If the money wasn't a problem, he'd be gone.
No, the money is a problem.
Yes,
we
okay,
agree. But
right.
Stop saying that we're going to have to cut a check for $60 million.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
We're just saying it's a lot of money.
But also, even this year, it's $9 million to Norvell.
It's a lot of money next year, and it's a lot of money the year after that.
You're talking about $9 million to Norvell, $2 to Malzahn, $2 to White. It's probably $15 million total to get rid of this coaching staff. You think they're going to finance that and find the money for that? They can't find $15 million for a roster?
Let's hope they can.
I mean, I don't understand the difference. You care about Florida State football enough to spend money on people not to coach here, but you don't care enough to get players here so your team can be successful.
Mike needs to take you on the road. Talk to Jim Owens. It
just doesn't make sense. If you care enough to give that kind of money for the guy not to coach your team, you care enough to go get a quarterback. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, they did go get a quarterback. They got the one he wanted.
You know what I'm saying. You're just being obstinate. You know what I'm saying. There's not people there that are big enough Florida State fans to pay $15 million to make a guy go away.
They've lost faith in the head coach, though.
But they might have faith in But, I mean, they want it. Do they not want their team to win or not?
Of course they want their team to win. They just
that's why they would fire
tons of money to try to win.
But that's why they would pay the money.
They just allowed for those coordinators to be fired and new ones brought in, and they did pay for a roster.
Right. They care enough to have that guy go away, but they don't care enough to fund the roster.
They don't pay enough to make him go away because he's not going away.
I didn't say I said the two assistants. Oh, you're talking about him. Yeah. No, there's no – look, they did do that. They did commit all that money, and then this is what they got. They don't believe in this guy anymore.
I'm saying
they also don't want to spend.
But they don't want to spend the money to have him go away, right?
Oh, I think they do. I don't think any one person wants to write that check. Yes. I don't think there's a guy coming in
the collection of 10 to 12 big money boosters. They don't want to do that to have him go away.
I think there's a distrust of the people making the decision moving forward. I think they have a distrust. That's what this has fostered over the last 2 years.
Here's the experiment, big money people. See how bad a coach. Give Norvell the best roster in the country and see if he can screw that up. Let's make it be an experiment.
We'll get the headliner questions next hour. Hang in.
With help from Budget Blinds. From designing custom draperies and Roman shades to color matching your blinds and shutters.
I'm your yard so you can focus on what matters. Grilling, chilling, and cheering on your team. Don't let leaves sack your game day fun. Call the Lawn Johns today and win the battle of the backyard. The Lawn Johns. Your lawn, our game.
Go custom with your window coverings with help from Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Budget Blinds brings their showroom to your home with dozens of color and pattern choices. Just tell them what you love and they'll make it happen. From designing custom draperies and Roman shades to color matching your blinds and shutters.
I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds Tallahassee, where you get beautiful style and expert service for any budget. Call 668-4835 for a free consultation online at budgetblinds.com.
Stay tuned for more headlines coming up next.
Life doesn't slow down after 55. It just changes. The moments may look different, but they matter just as much. Maybe you're celebrating family milestones or taking that trip you've always promised yourself. At Capital Health Plan Center for Healthy Aging, your My Vitality plan helps you stay ready for it all with personalized care and support built around what matters most to you. Because there's still so much ahead. Call 850-399-9039 to learn more.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Doster with America in View.
Matt, Florida has become the world leader for freedom, and I love being in the studio with you every week where we are reinforcing the conservative movement with truth, the Constitution, and a little redneck common sense. We're waking the woke.
That's right, Brett. We enjoy talking politics and what's going on in the world. We're bringing our take on the issues, doing our best to fight for freedom.
So tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. on Real Talk 93.3.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
College basketball coming up at the Tucker Center tonight. Florida State 23.5-point favorites over Cal State Bakersfield. 157.5 the total in Tallahassee. Jacksonville meets Pacific in Daytona Beach. Pacific, the 4.5-point favorite, 139.5 the total. Jacksonville Jaguars return to action on the road at the Tennessee Titans. They're a 6.5-point road favorite, 42.5 the total. Titans have lost 6 straight. They're 1-10 on the season. College football Saturday at the Swamp. Florida bet down to a 1.5 favorite over Florida State. 50.5 the total at Ben Hill Griffin State. Score $500 in rewards at the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Lowe's early Black Friday deals are going fast. Don't miss up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. And with Christmas around the corner, you're going to need more string lights, right? Save $4 on GE LED 100-count string lights, now just $5.98. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/3. Selection varies by location. Select locations only while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
At Bank of America, we asked our teammates, what makes this company a great place to work?
There's very little that you can't accomplish working for Bank of America.
If you prove yourself, you can try over in a totally new way.
You can learn so much here. You're the owner of your career.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage, and today I want to talk straight with you about debt, especially high interest rate credit cards, and why you shouldn't just sit there and hope the situation will fix itself. Nationwide, the average credit card interest rate is hovering around 21% or higher. The total revolving credit card debt in the U.S. is over $1 trillion and rising. If you're carrying a credit card balance, you're likely paying hundreds of dollars each month just in interest, without even touching your principal. But here's the good news. You can act. What I help folks do is refinance their home or use a home loan strategy to consolidate high interest debt into something with a much lower interest rate and one payment. It puts you in control. So if you own a home or you're buying one, let's talk about turning your house into a tool so you can stop the credit card interest trap and you can stop feeling like you're paying lots without making progress. Go to loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com, and let's get you on a smarter financial path and get out of the high interest grind.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those storm leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, headliner questions. We like to thank Dr. Birch Orthodontics at the start of this hour, always. Today, no different. I'm sure they're going to have a feast with perfect teeth at the Dr. Birch household.
So I got an email from Dr. Birch yesterday morning. Early Monday morning.
She's up early. She works out every day very early.
And the headline was Seminole headlines.
Oh,
and
boy.
like on your email, like you can see like the beginning of the email, like on my phone.
Yeah, just a first sentence or two.
And it started off with my sponsorship to Seminole headlines.
You
I was like,
thought,
Dr. Birch is
no.
She's done.
She got the news.
Yep.
And she's done. Nope. Ride or die.
Okay, good
Ride
for her.
Or
Good
die.
for her.
Yeah, unwavering.
Yeah. In fact, and then she invited us to come by the office. They've had it redone recently.
Oh man!
And not only do you get free water,
I was
guys,
gonna say they didn't get rid of the water.
free
did they?
coffee as well.
Let's go.
So-
What else do you need?
So
This coffee is a difference maker. I'm serious.
Coffee's for winners.
That's right.
And so we had closers. So we had my kids are all going to be in town for the holidays. I was like,
Nice.
I should bring them all by so you could inspect
See
the
their
teeth.
teeth.
But they're closed tomorrow, so we won't be able to go by. But Dr. Birch, ride or die. The only thing she requests if I do come by is that we just don't talk Florida State football.
That's
Which
a
is
lot of people
understandable.
right about
Which
now.
is understandable.
I'm about tired of it myself.
But Dr. Birch and her staff are incredible. That's why we're talking about going to visit her, not just for the water and the coffee, because they do tremendous work, great customer service. All of our kids and friends' kids, and it's just everybody that we know that cares about their kids. If you don't care.
Yeah,
if you're not serious about your
Your
kids'
kids. Yeah.
Did she say anything about my joke last week? Did that come up in the email?
She
The
didn't, I think.
2:30?
No, she
Oh.
didn't. It might not have been the first time she's ever heard it.
But I feel like
Theoretically.
we should have saved this till 2:30.
Good
This promo.
So go to birchorthodontics.com and you can set up a consultation. If anybody in your family needs orthodontic work, we highly recommend it.
And if they ask you for an appointment time, you know what to tell them.
Tooth hurting.
2:30.
Yeah. You were going to do it again. Brandon writes, do you expect the new front office structure to report to Mike or be over Mike?
It's a great question.
That is a great question. Let's hope it's over.
Well, if it's over, I find that interesting because Mike makes $10 million a year.
Hey, man.
So what are you paying the GM?
Yeah, but I mean, Mahomes makes $30 million. Andy Reid makes $7 million. Like sometimes
Yeah,
the
but
world.
guess what? Mahomes could tell Andy Reid to go to hell.
And Michael Alford makes 1.4, and Mike Norvell makes 10. Like sometimes you report to people that make less money than you, but by God, what has Mike Norvell done to run a personnel department?
I don't think it needs to be that drastic. I think it could be almost two silos that work together. I mean, I think that you have a GM.
Isn't that the definition of a silo? Is you have a bridge that connects them.
Yeah, no, you still work together. You're not in a silo. Silo is probably not the best. Two
different hospital wings.
The bottom line is
different wings of the hospital.
Or
We got the
great
phlebotomist
airplane,
over there.
or a crashing airplane.
The point is, Mike Norvell's greatest weakness, I think we all can agree, is evaluating quarterbacks and really just evaluating the roster.
Recruiting.
And football.
Well, no, I don't think it's just recruiting. I think it's evaluation also. But anyway, that part of it, he has failed more than in any other area.
Yeah.
So having somebody that's got control over that, I think is the way to go. And I think that can happen without even Mike Norvell having to report to that person. They could come to consensus on certain things, but I don't think Mike Norvell, as long as Mike Norvell's reporting to, as long as that GM would be reporting to Mike Norvell, he would be able to say, no, I don't want that quarterback. I want this quarterback. Well, then you're back where you started.
And then the GM is like, AJ Duffy. Mike, AJ Duffy. I'm making the call.
Yeah.
And that's his response to everything. Sorry, AJ, but good Lord.
So I think that it needs to be somewhat autonomous. I don't know that person needs to be Mike's boss, but we don't know how that's going to work out yet.
Brandon's second part of that was the decision only seems to make sense if you're planning to let Mike wear 2026 while building a front office that will live beyond him. If not, how do they plan to attract actually good people for that job? That's the rest of his question.
Well, I mean, I think it would be independent. I mean, the GM, if you hired a GM to build a scouting and evaluation and recruiting department, and they're doing a good job, but Mike Norvell can't get kids to play hard, that's not going to cost the GM their job.
Yeah.
Fellas and sausage lovers, this is from Panama Noel. What do you all think is the record this year if they had a quarterback?
So I think they beat NC State. I think they beat Stanford.
I think they beat Virginia.
I mean, they put up 38 on Virginia, though, so I can't.
He had some huge. I mean,
the throw to Sawchuck, but he also makes the throw to
and
Pittman.
the interception at the beginning.
Yeah,
well, but if you had a good quarterback, maybe they,
I would.
You don't.
But I think the stuff he did on the ground in that game makes it tough to say for sure. But definitely Stanford. I mean, they'd be at 7 or 8 wins probably.
I think at least 7, maybe 8 wins.
Even the Pitt game, like if Deuce Robinson's not on the field, you might as well not ever try to throw the ball because he didn't play in the second half.
And that
your
offense
defense
looked like it did
your
last year.
Defense cost you the pick game, though. That was
for sure.
Yeah, but the second half offensively without Deuce was just it looked like 2024.
And that gets back to his recruiting and lack thereof.
Yes.
It's
It's all
starters,
trouble.
you got no chance. Dan writes, once upon a time, Coach Speak legend and bottom dweller of the ACC, Bill O'Brien, knew something Mike and Gus still haven't figured out yet. He's going to rip Tommy, and he did. Nathan writes, with DeBoer now the top name for Penn State, if he leaves, you think there's any chance Alabama makes another run at Mike?
Is DeBoer the top name for Penn State? By the way, yeah. What are the odds that Penn State gets somebody better than James Franklin?
I mean, DeBoer might be in trouble if they lose to Auburn. I mean,
that would be a tough loss to stomach, I would guess. Patrick writes, what is preventing Mike Norvell from digging in his heels and refusing some of the changes the administration wants to make?
I do think that's going to be interesting how it plays out. Like what? Because I don't know that they're in a consensus other than they clearly could not have put out the press release they did unless he was willing to make major changes. Like you don't let the president or the trustees and just the beginning of the release talking about major changes. I forgot the wording, fundamental changes. If he hasn't agreed, and you wouldn't agree to bring him back if he hasn't agreed to make changes. The devil's in the details. Like, does that mean who's going to decide everything? You know, I doubt they've gone through the entire staff and said, yeah, we need that person's got to go. This person's got to go. This person can stay or not. So they have to work through that, and we don't know how that part's going to work out. I mean, that will be interesting to see. But I don't think there's no scenario where Mike Norvell is going to get obstinate and say, no, I'm not doing any of these things you want. You put out a press release. You're stuck with me now. I mean, they would have to fire him then.
You think they regret the press release after Stanford?
It's a good question. I mean, there was definitely Tom and I talked about it last night on the Smash. I mean, it was not a consensus from what I was hearing at the time in the athletic department about whether or not to put out a statement and then what the statement should say. And there was a lot of hand-wringing about what to say because they were trying to walk the fine line between letting the team know, I think that was the top priority, that he's not being fired on Monday, despite what you're hearing everything else, or on Sunday. At the same time, I think they were trying to let people know that they haven't made a decision yet. And I think that's accurate. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, well, now the last month didn't matter. That's not – if they had gone 0-4, they may have fired him. They didn't go 0-4. They won the 2 games they had at home. They lost at Clemson and at NC State, where they never win. So anymore. So, you know, I do think the results matter because if they had gone off a cliff, I do think they would have fired.
I feel like the mistake, if you're going to have a release, do it after the Virginia Tech game, though. If he's coming back, no matter what,
the decision
no matter what happens in Raleigh,
just
do it after. Yeah, no, but I'm saying in hindsight, like moving forward.
I don't think that they were still. I don't think they were 100% sure yet. And again, like
they had to see that game play out in Raleigh?
During the month. I think during the month it was a fluid situation. They're looking at who they could possibly get. They're talking to agents. They're trying to figure out what the landscape's going to look like. Meanwhile, evaluating what's happening here.
Did they not want Franklin?
I do not believe they wanted Franklin.
Because that has to be the case.
I don't think they wanted Franklin.
Because they could have
had James Franklin.
My understanding is the things we had heard about him and the reason Penn State was very quick to get rid of him, and the reason the best he could get is Virginia Tech. And that's the best he can get. You're not seeing anybody else clamor for him. That the fact that there's just about how difficult he is to work with. And that matters, man. Like it's easy for anybody else to say, yeah, we'll put up with it. But you better be incredible. And his record against top 5 competition, and you're that difficult to work with, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I thought when they fired him after they did with those 2 losses,
very quick,
the UCLA game,
they were looking for a reason.
It told you that they were eager.
Give me a reason.
It.
Give me a reason, James.
Yeah, and I thought when he took the Virginia Tech job, it was clear that he didn't have an offer from Florida State because Florida State could have had him and he would have loved that job. Knowing that Mike is coming back, writes Tony, for the next season, should we start Kevin Sperry on Saturday to see what we have and what we could have going into next year? If we need to spend $3 or $4 million in the portal on a quarterback, or can allocate that money elsewhere? It's tough to get your first start on the road.
I would have done it
Florida.
A month ago, and that's why I remember asking Mike Norvell about it 3
I
or 4
think
weeks
it's
ago.
about, though, that's what makes me think that he didn't know for sure he'd be coming back. Because, man, I think you play Sperry a lot more than you did. You play him more than sparingly. See, it's Kevin Sparingly is what I call him. Anyone? But you would have done that if you knew for sure you were coming back because you're trying to set up for next year. And this guy that you have here clearly isn't it. So why not give Sparingly more time?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I thought that they should have been doing it.
So I think he was trying to win games, though. That was his sole goal. with playing Castellanos is he
And
thought he gave him the best chance to win this year.
And it's not that Tommy's terrible. It's just that when you have opportunities to make plays and you just can't make that throw, it just kills you. That NC State game, if he makes 2 or 3 throws that are like
just don't
basic
throw the
throws,
crazy interception. Yeah. That's nuts. That's nuts.
And
they were moving the ball. NC State wanted to give up, I think. They had just given up 41 points. You're moving the ball through them like butter, and then your quarterback throws it from his side pocket, jumping over his receiver who's wide open, and it gives them life and hope, and then you don't score a touchdown for 3 more hours.
And I went back and watched the game, and the announcers are getting all excited about that corner. Well, man, he's beaten on those throws, but he has to recover because the throw comes late and it's underthrown. If those are good throws, those are big plays.
Or touchdowns, yeah.
Cameron writes, hey, Jensen, Corey, is Alfred still here for the kickoff of 2026? I just have this feeling that he's losing favor of people at FSU, and his time here could be limited.
But he's not doing – I would say this. He's not doing this alone, as Ira pointed out. He's got the 2 other people that matter more than him are giving him the go-ahead. This is not like the Mavericks GM saying, you know what, I'm going to trade Luka.
Well,
like this is Alfred asking for –
I don't know what the – dynamic is there in terms of his relationship with those 2 and what they think about him for real or any of that stuff. And that would all be behind closed doors. But, you could make an argument. You could make a case, for example, that they couldn't fire Mike because they're not real sure that they want Alfred to be here long term. And you would probably want to have an athletic director make the decision on the next coach.
I don't know that ADs do that anymore.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, I think
it's definitely a collaborative. The world has changed. And we've talked about this before. There's so much money in college football that's why you now have these chancellors and trustees getting involved.
And governors and secretaries of state.
But I do think that any new athletic director, if that was the route, they're
leading the hands-on process. Yeah, no question. I don't know, man. There's no way we can speculate. There's no way to know. I don't want to speculate on whether or not he's going to be here in 2026. Right now, you would assume he will be, but I can't tell you.
Well, he believes in this coach.
His name's been mentioned for a slew of jobs. So, it's clearly somebody working on his behalf is talking to other schools also. So we'll see how it plays out.
He'd like to be here when that trophy's hoisted.
Yeah.
Lane writes, should the Battles Inn take all of this month's donations and bet Florida on the money line, boys?
See, that's not a bad play.
That's
creative, gang. That's creative.
Yeah. Then we could get some money towards that quarterback, Corey, that you want for $4 million?
Yep.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's a better likelihood that they have a quarterback that fans can find a way to be excited about, or it's going to be Kevin Sperry going into next season? Like, what do you think is more likely?
I think they could find a quarterback that they feel. I mean, you'd be portaling over another quarterback, and
you almost have to, though, don't you?
Yeah, at some point.
That's why I wanted to play Sperry the last month to see.
I would have too.
Hey, you could get to a bowl game.
Once the season was kind of lost, I thought, you maybe want to start this other guy and see what he is.
But that's to Corey's point. If those
Mike
coaches
didn't
felt
think
like
he was going to keep his job, so he was like, "What do I care?" Yeah.
Or that I've got to.
And maybe you lose to Virginia Tech if Sperry's horrible, and then you might be out of a job. So who knows?
Dom writes, Ira, can you officially confirm that you and Gus Malzahn are best friends? He's only happy when you ask questions.
Is that true? I don't think he's.
I don't know that Gus is ever happy in that room. He's trying to speed through that thing like it's a. I'm
gonna miss the elongated. I'm gonna miss the elongated exhale. It's the best. Yeah. It happens by being asked a mere question, not questions. It's early in question 1 that we often hear.
Well, he'll do it after questions. To go through his.
It's unbelievable. It's like he comes in, first question, Coach, on second down, you thought on that situation.
It's like the wind blowing through the prairie.
It's unbelievable. At the disdain in his heart for you and anybody else that's asking that question.
Yeah,
is abundantly clear. It's awesome.
I've gotten a couple of good questions from him, but I think he's being ironic,
patronizing.
Yeah, I think he's being patronizing when he says good question. I don't believe him.
Good question, Corey.
Good question. I don't know why our quarterback throws it from his butt every time he's on the run, but he does. He does.
Geez, R.A. Noel. Okay, this is bold. Gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. May you have unlimited pie. My daughter was... We're at the age where we don't need unlimited pie, R.A.
What would we do with it?
It's too much. It's too much. Just the one.
Yeah.
We're good. My daughter was at the game in Raleigh and was worried about what the field crews would try to do during the wrap.
They delivered in unbelievable fashion. That was a great way to go out with the road ACC games.
I do appreciate the guys just camping behind us. That was nice. And to clarify, because we'll get some comments on the YouTube where people are like, you guys can't be mad at them for doing their job. We're not mad at them for doing their job.
It's like a running shtick with me, honestly, at this point.
But it's also sometimes they just kind of come close.
They get a little close.
I don't know if that grass near the wall needs to be
the
that
stands
fine.
on the 50 and let the camera have Aslan shoot.
Well,
downward,
then they would somehow find a
50.
way. That's when the leaf blower comes in to blow up all the garbage.
But behind the scenes, though, we don't really have Aslan with us on the road, so we have to put the tripod thing.
And they park right behind us with that John Deere.
Noel Scribe wants to know who the player is that the team does. Which player on this team doesn't get enough shine?
I think before the
Pettibone, he's good. He's been good at center. I think the offensive line in general has been pretty darn good considering it's five
to be better
new
than
guys.
Yeah.
So I would say him maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking Jabril Rawls before he got hurt. It was a guy that I like the way. I just like watching him play. I think he's really good. I hope he's at Florida State next year.
Me too.
Who else that doesn't get shine? Blake Nicholson's making some plays lately.
All right.
He's making some plays lately. He did make a few plays.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
You think the shine is lacking for
No,
Blake?
I'm not saying that. That's probably not. Yeah, that's probably a bad answer.
Over under 2.5 on-field coaches that will be replaced this offseason. That's from Chris.
Have to be replaced or
will be.
Will be. I would say over.
Over 2.5.
Yeah.
I think both coordinators are gone.
I hope Tony stays.
I'm curious about Tony because if he can't get a head coaching job, which
why would he leave?
Then is he going to make what he's making here somewhere else?
And also think unlike the other side of the ball, there are some real pieces I think to build around defensively if you can get some of these guys to come back.
And it's amazing. I think I heard you guys talking about it. It might have been you and Tom, but probably not you and Tom because you guys haven't talked a whole lot about the
roster,
anything other than that topic.
Yeah,
which I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying. But I think it was you, Corey, or Aslan. Just talk about the defense, and I was so done with them after Pitt. I mean, I was just done. I was just so done with them.
That was an awful effort. Yeah.
So when I haven't really kind of been thinking, I mean, they played
much
better.
The offense has been pure ass.
Yeah, now
but the defense has gotten better. Yeah. Isn't that cool to see? Like a side of the ball that gets better as the season goes on. That's kind of cool.
And the fact that a lot of those guys can come back if they can keep them. So I would like to. Again, a month ago, 5 weeks ago, I would have not had said this, but yeah, man, if Tony White wants to come back and they can keep this group together, that could be maybe.
I also think that's a good
strong defense.
That's a good presence and personality to have on your team.
Yeah,
I like him. I like what he's added to the.
Which players would you put an emphasis on to ensure they retain, which is i.e. money? So I would say, for example,
Rawls.
I like Rawls. I like Shamar.
Yep.
Desires. Obviously the Desires. It's a good one. Win, I guess. I mean,
I would assume so. He looked good when he first started playing.
So I would say win. Anybody else?
I think
Earl Little.
If Earl's an option, I think.
I'd try to get Earl to come back. Barker. I like both those guys. I think, and then get me some edge dudes.
Yeah, they don't have any right now.
No.
They have nobody.
I'd say James Williams was a miss. They spent some money on him.
You say that?
But the other guys were just kind of, they weren't the best in the country. They weren't even close.
McCray's a serviceable guy.
He's serviceable, but let's get a little better than serviceable.
No, I got you. But he can come back also. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that group, there's stuff to work with.
Yeah, that side of the ball's gotten better, and it gives you real confidence that next year, if you can get a linebacker or two, and these guys get better, bigger, and stronger, you got a chance.
I haven't asked either one of you this, and I've thought it every game this year, and I can't figure it out. Why do you think they rotate seemingly haphazardly at running back?
We've asked. We don't have an answer.
Yeah, and I just stick with my answer from a couple weeks ago. Is I don't know if it matters because it doesn't seem to matter whoever's in there. None of them are great, so I don't think
I just don't know that they let anybody ever have a chance to be like. If you're going to invest that kind of money, as they did at running back,
yeah.
Why wouldn't you play him? Why is he rotating out with Roydell and other people?
Well, and Cromwell's getting 2 carries a game, 9 plays a game. I know.
Why wouldn't you play him? I don't understand this.
And then also Singleton's the guy.
Passed.
Yeah, he even said it on Sunday. He said on Sunday, he's like, I've always been a guy.
So who's making that decision?
I think it's Gus. Gus runs the offense.
Yeah, I don't
Mike
think
Norvell's
Norvell's
not
telling
telling
him
him you got to play these.
Get
runs.
Roydell in there.
Do you think that like that there's a pitch count? Like somebody's like, hey, my guy better get 9 carries. My guy better get 5 carries.
I can't imagine.
Well,
It's
then
not
why
like,
did he change his MO? I'm so curious.
He won't answer. We've asked. I promise we've asked. He
It's
won't say.
just crazy.
He was asked,
It's
and
also
he's
ridiculous.
like, he's asked Sunday, and he's like, yeah, I've usually been a guy that likes 1 or 2 guys total. Like I like a feature back, but I've got a running back by committee.
There's a lot of things I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question, but I damn sure know nobody's telling Gus Malzahn, no, you're not playing the backs you want to play. He's playing who he wants to play. I don't know why it's happening. I'm just telling you. Nobody's telling him who they're going to play.
It just doesn't seem to have. There's no like, oh, I see what he did here.
There's no rhyme or reason to any of them.
I think he hates them all. That's my
that might be true.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Tired of calling 1-800 numbers just to get put on hold? Flush those numbers down the drain and call Terry West Plumbing and Septic Services, now offering Terry's Toilets, providing clean, reliable porta potties for any job site, special event, or backyard party. Real local people doing real work. No robots, no AI, no call centers. For all your septic services and portable restroom needs, one local call wipes away the competition. Call 850-510-8558. That's 510-8558. Or visit terrywestplumbing.com. When you call, we answer.
This is G. Deckeroff. In 1979, my friend Guy Moore opened his first store. Over 45 years later, Garnet & Gold is still providing the Seminole Nation with unique ways to show their spirit. As the last locally owned FSU merchandise source in Tallahassee, we're proud to be a part of the Florida State experience and this community. If you're a Seminole like me, this is your store. Garnet & Gold. Go Noles.
Big news! Café de Martín has been named one of America's best restaurants, and we want to celebrate with you. On December 10th from 1 to 4 p.m., a national film crew will be in the restaurant capturing the magic of our food, our people, and our community. Come dine with us, enjoy your favorites, and you just might be featured on camera. Join the celebration at Café de Martín, December 10th, 1 to 4 p.m. Café de Martín, where every plate tells a story.
When emergencies happen in Florida, every second counts. Beacon keeps you informed. It's the new statewide network bringing official emergency alerts straight from the Florida Division of Emergency Management and agencies statewide. No hype, no ads, just clear, verified updates to help protect you and your family. Download the free Beacon 24/7 Alerts app in your app store. Brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the University of Florida, and the Florida Association of Broadcasters.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Spencer wants to know, and right after we answer Spencer's question, we're going to talk about the need to drink Tavelo. Now more than ever.
Massive amounts.
Massive amounts of Tavelo. He wants to know, if you were Mike Norvell, what would be the first thing that you would address in the offseason? Recruiting, your quarterback situation, linebackers, the offensive line or defensive line?
Quarterback.
Yeah,
but hey,
we don't think it's.
They all need addressing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the first thing they have to address. To Jeff's point is, the GM, what the front office is going to look like. But in the meantime, they're going to have to do the work. The people that are still there, including Mike Norvell, who's going to be there, have to be working the portal aspect of it to see what's available, see what their chances are. The NIL people and revenue sharing people, those conversations have to be happening while they're doing the search to find the GM and the front office people. So it's not like they're going to wait for that person to get here. They need to be working on it now, like everybody else. But yeah, the quarterback's number one. I just think that's the offensive line is going to only be as good as it can be. Like, I don't think you're not going to get a great offensive line out of the portal.
Nope.
So you're just going to try to get a decent offensive line along with the pieces you have.
And maybe you only have to get 3 this year instead of all 5.
Possibly. And but the quarterback's the quarterback. I mean, it all starts there, man. It all starts and ends there.
I want to know who's making the decision on the quarterback too.
Well, I mean, in the meantime, I'm sure it's Mike Norvell until they get somebody in. Yeah.
That's frightening. Ryan writes, "Hi, guys. First off, shout out to Tommy C. He said he came here to save jobs, and he's done it."
Yep. I made that point on Wake Up. He called his shot. He said he's going to beat Alabama. They couldn't stop him, and then he said he's going to save jobs. Right on both fronts.
He goes on to say, based on Mike's press conference yesterday, are you 3 at all concerned that there really isn't a plan? Mike didn't have any answers in the statements on Sunday, lacked any real details at all. I'm afraid that after the loss Friday, they panicked, said something about structural changes, and figured they could just deal with it later.
2 things. Number one, I don't believe that's the case. But number 2, what could he possibly say? Yes, I'm replacing this guy.
Yeah.
I'm clearing out that department. What are you going to say? There's nothing he can really say because he's got a staff that's there working right now. So, it's difficult.
Unless there was a guy on staff that he always hated.
Then
it would be great. He'd be like, I'll tell you what, I'm done with Mike.
Yeah, Mike's done.
Yeah, Mike Phillips, get your ass out right now. I'm calling
you
it
watching
right
this?
Here, right now. Yeah.
You watching this,
get
Mike?
Get your stuff and go, you bum. Yeah, that'd have been great. I made up that name, by the way. If there is a Mike Phillips over there, I apologize.
I'm sure there's a Mike Phillips somewhere.
Yeah, I know a Mike Phillips.
Not in the football office.
Not in the football office.
Do you think, if you guys were Mike Norvell, and this is an honest question, don't laugh. In fact, I'm just going to ask you.
Well,
if you were Mike,
that I won't laugh.
If you were Mike Norvell, would you think about giving back some money? Because you feel so bad about what you've done to this fan base?
I don't know. I'd love to be in a position to contemplate such a thing. To say,
I genuinely think
I'm rich beyond my wildest dreams,
and we'll ever
I
need
am failing. Should I give this school $10 million as a gesture of an apology?
I legitimately think, and maybe this says something about how delusional I am about my own personality and my own person. I think I would. I think I would say I'm going to restructure my contract.
You'd say, look, I don't think we have enough NIL right now, and I'm not real sure I can convince anybody to give us any more. So I'm going to give this $10 million to these 5 players that I'm going to bring in.
Sure, that's one way to do it. You do with the money whatever you want, but I would be like, I don't deserve this money. I don't deserve this money, and I feel gross cashing this check.
We're trying to hold somebody to an idea of what we think they should do.
I'm
when
asking.
It's not our money.
I know. I'm saying I genuinely think I would.
I don't know. I don't care, man. I'm not comfortable talking about what other people do with their money. Any of these people, they all make way too much money for what they do.
Don't say that, Ira.
I mean, look, man.
They don't make too much money.
Do quarterbacks that fail get back their contracts?
No, I'm asking. I was just asking.
I know, and I'm just saying
I'm not criticizing them. I genuinely think I would.
By asking it on our program with a YouTube audience, now that's creating that conversation. I'm not comfortable with that conversation.
All right. Well, hey, that's why I asked him. I knew what you were going to do beforehand.
What I would say though is this: I do think that if there are changes in terms of his salary structure or how that's all working out, I do think I don't think it's something that they're necessarily going to broadcast right now.
Sure,
we'll see how that works out. Even though the $4.5 million thing last year did not happen like right after 2 and 10, it was kind of down the road. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not comfortable with that conversation.
I would just say this. I think the better conversation when I try to place myself in Mike's shoes is I would be asking myself, because obviously he knows, and he has said publicly and privately that
what's
he
wrong
knows
with me.
That I'd be wondering who do I need to talk to about why it is that I've lost my coaching mojo? Think back on this. I'm serious about this. I've talked about this before. When Florida State didn't have the talent, he was very imaginative. Remember, he got the reputation for scripting the first 15 plays, and people got pissed off because the first 15 plays were always incredible.
Script the whole game. Script the whole game. Make the whole plane out of it.
But remember, they pushed Notre Dame to overtime. They had no business doing that. Well, there were a lot of moments where you could see the things that made him a popular and up-and-coming OC, then a young head coach at Memphis. All those things.
That's why he's here.
You witnessed all of that early in his time here when the team wasn't good. Mm-hmm. He had to be that imaginative. Somewhere along the way, he lost all of it. And I would love to know what happened.
I have a quick theory. Well, there might be two different things at play. There's probably a lot of different things that are at play. But in terms of him as a play caller, and I think this topic may come up again if Gus leaves, because I think one thing they're going to have to consider
he should be the play caller.
That's going to be
because you stripped him of his dignity at that moment.
And my point is, if you go back to his time as a play caller, going back to Arizona State and Memphis, and then the first few years here, that was never a problem. Nobody ever got mad at Mike Norvell for his play calling. 2023,
the undefeated season, it was a problem.
It was a problem.
And I brought it up a lot, and they kept winning games.
But my theory with that is I think he had never, to your point about never having a good team in terms of like that level.
Yeah.
I think he felt an obligation to get Keon his touches, to get Jaheim his touches, to give
Trey,
Johnny Wilson, Trey, all those guys. And everything felt forced about that offense.
And not creative.
No, I agree. But I think that's, because he's throwing hitches to Keon just to get him the ball.
Well,
like I feel like he was concerned about you went from a hardworking blue collar 2021-22 team that rose off the Scrabble that was left for dead, and then you bring in Keon Coleman and all these dudes. I think he was very concerned about the dynamics of that. So I think he lost his way trying to make all those guys happy, and it went poorly. 2024 has nothing to do with play calling. There's no play caller in America that's going to, with that offensive line and DJ Uiagalelei and those receivers, is putting together a good offense.
Yep.
So, but people have taken those 2 years to turn in, well, he was a bad play caller. I think the whole thing, making him give that up was a mistake, but we'll see. So if Gus leaves, I do wonder if he takes that back, and then now that saves
you some money
that you maybe can put in other areas.
That's how he gives back.
I just have wondered if he hasn't thought to himself, like, this is what I do. I have always been a play caller, and now I'm just sitting over here twiddling my thumbs, wondering why we can't move the ball.
No, he's not twiddling his thumbs.
Well, while they're scoring 11 points or 13 points,
it's the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably crossed his mind once or twice.
I think he's been like, I could do this. Twice. We could call QB sneaks with Croman Hawk. I would
also want to get to the root. I would ask myself repeatedly, like, hey, maybe ideally you wanted and made some promises to agents, perhaps, that you would get your client, this many catches and this many attempts at running back or whatever it is. Somewhere along the way, you'd be like, this ain't it. I can't do this. I am the very thing that made me a desirable candidate to begin with is now gone. I have nothing. There's nothing about me right now that anybody would find appealing.
Yeah.
He doesn't recruit well. He doesn't call plays. He's failed across every imaginable thing there is to do in football right now the last 2 years. I can't fathom how you wouldn't think, I got to go talk to somebody who's going to shoot me straight, who's going to be brutally honest and say things maybe I don't need to hear or want to hear, or maybe I need to hear him but don't want to hear him. Like, because he is coming back. No matter what I think about that decision, and I don't like it, he is coming back.
You don't like it?
Listen, man, I'll say this. The mojo part, and again, that goes back to why I was thinking, man, you may need to make a change, because I don't know that he's not breathing life into –
he's breathing despair.
So that has to be addressed.
It's the death breeze.
And if you are the death rattle, if you're the people that make these decisions, yeah, man, because I don't know if Mike Norvell is going to come to this on his own, but I would definitely recommend he talk to people, mental conditioning, those types of things, because and I asked him about it today. Like, do you evaluate how you communicate to the players and what messages you're saying and how you're saying it? And he said he does all the time, and I meet the players where they are and all that. Well, I don't know, man. I think you may need some more help in that area.
Yeah.
Because listen, Jimbo, again, there's a lot of things I criticize Jimbo for, but I thought Trevor Moad, the mental conditioning guy that helped him out, I think was helpful. You would see there were times Jimbo handled situations better than he had in the past.
Correct.
Because I think he had been coached up on it.
Yeah,
I think
Trevor
Mike
pulled him
needs-
aside and said, hey, man, you can't do that.
Or you can't say that.
Yeah.
I think Mike needs help in that area. Whoever's can give him some guidance. I think that's something they should
I think that's our job.
Well, yeah, okay.
After he gives up the money.
Well, we'll just write it.
Yeah, let's write it and see if he reads it.
Tony says a lot of the conversation is focused on keeping or firing Mike, but almost nothing is being said publicly about specific assistants. Given the chronic issues on offense and special teams, how fair is it to say that keeping Mike Norvell should come with letting go of guys like Tony Tokars or John Papuchis and others?
Well, first of all, Tony Tokars, I mean, you can't blame him for any of this.
No.
I mean, Gus Malzahn came in.
Yeah.
This is his offense. He brought in a guy to help with the quarterbacks.
The question is,
He's coaching that entire
why is he
offense.
here?
Well, you're not going to fire him just because Gus doesn't want him to help.
No, I know, but I'm saying like he's not doing anything.
Well, but before that, he was
I know. Yeah, I know.
So,
yeah.
So I guess I just want to, because he was mentioned specifically.
That's a weird way to structure a staff where you have somebody on your staff that we don't know that he does anything.
Well, but that's not how it's structured. He brought in Gus, and then Gus is like, no, this is my thing.
I know.
So,
I know. But
you-
so Tony was kind of the odd man out,
Right.
but still here.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a decision to hire him and not have him do anything. But so I don't know if you can evaluate him based on what they did this season. As far as
Papuchis, you should absolutely fire.
Yeah, I mean, there's
overwhelming evidence.
Yeah, there's just the special teams. I can't
It's
believe
a disaster.
It's unbelievable how bad the special teams was.
$800,000.
And it's been bad for most of the year, but Saturday or
Got
Friday
to
night
get you a
was unbelievable.
DN. Get you two DNs.
You're going to unfortunately have to hire somebody to replace Papuchis.
Well, he'll do it for you. Get you a DN player coach. Get you a player coach.
It's unimaginable. And I don't have a problem personally with John Papuchis.
No, he's a
I
good
actually
guy,
like
great
John
guy, yeah.
Papuchis
but he's
a lot.
doing a terrible job. And it's overwhelmingly obvious to all. It's brutal. Disheartening to say the least. It is very disheartening, right, Scott? Speaking of which,
how about that?
it's not even December, and already I have no hope for the next football season. That being said, I have tried to remind people that Florida State currently had more exciting and better teams. There are more exciting and better teams than just the football program. Question for you guys, if you know the answer, is there a way to earmark my booster donation for other sports? Yes.
Is
Yeah.
there?
Yeah,
Yes, you absolutely can.
Yeah, and they also have coaches clubs.
Coaches clubs are a big part of that. Absolutely, you can.
Yeah, and the coaches will tell you the give to the coaches club because then they actually have control of where the money goes
Yeah.
and how it's used.
Yeah, absolutely. I know people who only give to golf for Trey and only give to soccer and only give to softball for Lonnie. That's
Or maybe
absolutely-
Luke, now that they're breaking records
yesterday
every
on
game.
the show, there were a lot of people saying to me, that's it. All my money's going to Luke. I go, Luke, are you listening? Hey, buddy, you're about to have a windfall.
One thing on Luke, real quick. He didn't go out and get a bunch of superstars.
No, he couldn't.
He couldn't. And he didn't.
Right.
But he's put together a nice little team.
Yeah.
So just saying, when it comes to, what you can do with the money you have, you can do better. You just have to do a better job of evaluating.
Yeah, and he came in with a very distinct plan, and he knew
Style.
exactly what
Yeah,
he
and he
wanted.
knew
He
what he
also
wanted, yeah.
surrounded himself with very good guys on that front, like guys that are connected to the people that can steer players to you.
Yeah, it was really smart. But even what impressed me is the evaluations of some of those transfers, because again, you got guys from mid-level schools, pretty much mid-major schools.
You think LeJay Jones had ever shot 21 threes in a game before?
I bet he has.
You think
I
if
he's
Drexel
wired
or
that
wherever
way.
he
I think
came
so,
from, he's like, yeah.
But even the freshman point guard, Cam.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
nice
he was. I didn't realize, and he went to IMG Academy. He's only a 3-star. In his offers, he was committed to Temple before, so it's not like he was. They just went out and somehow relationship shipped a guy that was everybody wanted. No, he wasn't, and he's impressive, man. I think Luke and that staff are very good evaluators, and that's what you got to get, man. As you rebuild this staff, they have to get better.
Not to be
evaluators.
Debbie Downer yet, but let's see what it looks like come February.
No, I agree. But even based on what it is
but
now,
it's more fun, and it's going to be attractive to recruit.
Yeah, no, we don't think they're going to go win the NCAA tournament, but I think they're a fun team to watch already, and we know what's coming down the pike.
Yeah,
they got 3 real dudes rolling in here, maybe 4, and so
I feel like he's going to be good in the portal too, because who wouldn't want to go to a place where you can shoot 21 threes in a game as one player?
Well, it's kind of cool, the idea. If you're a superstar player or a good player, an offensive-minded player, you can come play at Florida State and score 40 in a game.
Yeah, and your coach is going to be
shooting.
But your coach will get mad at you if you don't shoot.
He tells you that all the time,
including LeJay Jones, who we got mad at in the previous game for not shooting an open 3.
That's correct.
And then the next game, LeJay Jones hits 10 of them. That's good proof in the pudding.
It's
there.
fun. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
One man is dead and 2 others are injured after a multi-vehicle pileup on U.S. Highway 90 in Gadsden County. Troopers say a 37-year-old man from Quincy was driving a sedan on the inside westbound lane. However, he was driving the wrong way and the front of a sedan struck the front of a pickup truck driven by a 44-year-old Tallahassee man. The back of the pickup truck was then hit by a sedan that was driving behind it. After the collision, the initial sedan and pickup truck stopped in the road and blocked U.S. Highway 90 for a time. The third vehicle traveled off the road and into the wood line facing north of U.S. Highway 90. A 44-year-old Quincy woman was driving the third vehicle in the pileup and had minor injuries. The Tallahassee man driving the pickup truck had serious injuries, and the Quincy man in the sedan who was driving the wrong direction was pronounced deceased at the scene. There were no passengers in any of the vehicles. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A blend of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 84. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 67 tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Highs level off around 77. A blend of clouds and sun. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 78.
Welcome to Fen Chiropractic. What in the world happened to you?
Well, it was Thanksgiving, and it started out normal. We had deep-fried turkey, lukewarm beer, and a political debate that escalated into a deviled egg fight. Then Cousin Darryl said the Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl. And boom, there's folding chairs flying. Somebody tried to suplex Uncle Roy right through the buffet table.
Oh, my Lord.
Then Grandma pulled out her old wrestling belt and said, let's settle this in the yard. That's when Hank stepped in. Hanky Panky, my emotional support alligator. He tail whipped the potato salad in the neighbor's yard and stared down my brother-in-law to stop the yelling, and then he calmly slid into the hot tub like nothing happened.
So, how did you get hurt?
I got hurt when I tried to high-five Hank. I slipped on a gravy boat and I landed on the lawn gnome.
Family drama, holiday injuries, or gator-related back pain? Get adjusted at Fen Chiropractic. Visit fenchiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com.
Just like family, your chiropractor loves you and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
The purchasing of a massive rhubarb pie is taking place on the way home today, boys. Nothing can
Push
get
it
me
down
down.
a little Tavello.
Well, I was going to get to the Tavello.
No, you don't have to. We just did it. Tavello's awesome. Go up there
I
and
think you
visit.
got to do more than just say Tavello's awesome.
It's really awesome.
I want Ira to give the thorough spiel that we usually have.
It's really awesome.
I'm wondering if I could bring a rhubarb pie up to Tavello.
Yeah, they'd let you bring in your own food.
I think, first of all, you're
They let
Ira,
you
so
personally.
They let you do it.
We
Yeah.
definitely could. Anybody
The
could.
three of us. I don't think any slappy is rolling into their establishment with a rhubarb.
Hey, y'all got a
pie.
fork?
Nobody gets turned away with a rhubarb pie.
Well, that's true. That's fair.
Now, maybe if it was
awfully enticing.
Yeah, but all pies are good though.
Most all pies are good.
But yeah, there's just some are better.
Some are better than others.
Yeah.
So
I can think back to all the pies that I've ever had.
They're all pretty good.
I can think of every single one.
There's
of
none
them.
that you were like,
There's a
this is
couple of
gross.
pies where I was like,
yeah, it's
but
middling,
some
but
of
it's
it,
not.
A lot of the pies, like, woo.
Doctor.
So if you go up to Thomasville, Georgia,
yeah.
Tavello, right there in the heart of downtown, right before you get to the main drag there in Thomasville. You don't have to deal with all the traffic on the main drag in Thomasville. Right there on the right as you go in, Tavello, they've got a great tap room, all the different varieties of any crap beer you would like, an IPA. They've got the stouts. They've got the lager. I think it's the Rose City lager.
Maurice
which is delicious.
texted me and told me he's tired of you besmirching the stouts, and you
yeah.
better get off your ass and try one.
They also have the ciders. In fact, so my daughter Alexa and one of her friends were up there recently.
Getting drunk on cider?
They stopped into Tavello.
Okay. Okay. It's different.
And so they went to the bar and they got a couple ciders. And she tells Maurice, by the way, and she's she's been there before and she's met Maurice before, but just one time. And she goes, by the way, I'm Ira's daughter. And he goes, who's Ira?
Well, because Maurice is Maurice.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Very funny. But anyway, and then he comped them. They didn't have to pay for their drinks.
Oh, there you go, Maurice. So, hey, everyone,
you
say you're related
use
to
that.
Ira.
Everybody else, you can't use that. He knows who my family is.
Yeah.
But yeah, go up to Devello. And now it's going to be more and more. Now they've got distributors. You'll be able to get it in more places.
This is not like, I don't want this to be an exercise in like cruelty, but I have wondered this. Robert says, how's FSU going to send Mike on a booster tour? I just can't see what he could pitch at this point. I have thought that.
Yeah,
and if you were Mike, what would you say? I mean, he is back. He is going to go on these booster tours, I assume.
Whatever these changes are going to be is going to be
bring
the
them.
point.
Like bring whoever the GM is or who the new quarterback is. That bring
I mean, I'm
some
not going to
people
lose
with you.
sleep over it. I mean, he's made his bed here, but I am curious. Like, that is a
What if at
toughie.
every booster stop he writes $1 million check to the boosters? Just saying.
Well, in that case, he can stay for life. I'll tell you what, Mike, we've figured it out. You're here for as long as you want to be. If at every one of these booster tours,
You
you
give $1
write
million.
a check for $1 million
What if-
back to the boosters.
Just spitballing here.
Yeah.
Maybe a dunking booth?
Oh, I like that.
okay.
And
Or
if you
like
played
a
along
pie in the
with it,
face.
No, I don't think the pie in the
That's a
face.
little
People
rough.
might get aggressive.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a dunking booth,
Might
like
get
like
aggressive.
$5,000 for a
It
shot.
wouldn't just throw the pie, Corey. That'd be
Eat
a
it,
full.
Mike.
That would be a full follow through.
A dunking
You'd
booth would
feel
be
the
awesome.
heel of their palm right there. Come in.
You could
What would you-
probably
what would you
charge
charge per-
$1,000
$1,000 per ball.
to get to dunk him into a booth, dunk him into water.
Would you?
And I'm bringing this star pitcher to be, to be
yeah,
my
he's the one
proxy.
that's gonna do
You
it.
ever met Jamie Arnold? And I just gave him 10 of these. I gave him 10 balls.
And what about Charlie horses? Like, are you allowed to just punch him in the
physically,
muscle?
I don't know. I don't know. We do that.
Nothing physical.
That would have
guys.
to
Just
be-
But I think
dunking
that
boots. Just
for
dunking
more
boots.
money.
That'd
For
be
more
10,000. That'd be 10,000.
Maybe you could get to throw something in the dunking booth, like a barracuda.
I think the Charlie horse is a better option.
Yeah, you
guys.
poo-pooed the Charlie horse, but you want him to get eaten by a
if he's
fish.
quick, he won't get eaten.
How about a school of piranha? Because nobody's
Yeah.
ever seen that. I want to see that in real life. Norvell, Mike, how much do you care about this program, man? It all comes down to that.
Or you can write a check.
Or you can write a check for $1 million. Those are your two options.
Man, I can't read anymore, guys. People are, they're incensed.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a lot of good ideas here in the last 3 minutes.
The fear factor approach to
a booster
fundraising.
tour. Yeah.
Starred contributions here. I can't see all of them, guys. Help me out here.
Kyra, help him out. You got a screen over
I
there.
see that Will says right back where we started.
Yeah.
It hurts. Why are we not talking more about the anonymity? What is this? Groundskeepers. Oh, yeah, we've talked about that already.
The groundskeeper from NC State.
Yeah.
So
animosity. I
Tony
can't hardly
asked,
see it,
when are we actually going to hear facts about the plans for changes? Or are we just
Well, I
supposed
want to
take
know
them
that
on
too.
faith?
I desperately need to know that too.
I think it's difficult because they actually have people in some of those jobs, right?
But don't you think before like January?
Get the hell up out of here, buddy.
We'll effort to get some more information.
Because before January, you can't have a statement like you have and say you're looking at structural changes, and that's kind of your selling point.
But there's
as to why you're
important
keeping
dates
them.
along the way.
What?
There are important dates along the
Yeah,
way.
but
coming
I'm
up.
saying
We
like
need to get some
before the
people in here.
portal, but in that meantime, between National Signing Day and the portal opening, it would be nice to know what the structure is here, organization, the org chart, and let the fan base, your constituency, know it, so that it doesn't look just like lip service.
Also, Charles, thanks for your contribution as well. He said,
Thank you.
Thinking about the comprehensive reassessment statement, in hindsight, it meant that they're changing the backroom staff at the end of the year. It was vague in the hopes to quell fan outrage about Mike. That's a theory. I mean, maybe they knew this was what they're going to do, but they knew that what had to be assessed was the back end stuff. And we'll see. Again, the question is with that, and it's a valid question, is how quickly can that be implemented, and how quickly can that have an
And
impact?
do you think there's any chance after the Stanford game, they released that, and that was a bye week, remember, and they were moving into the new facility, that's when they sat down with Norvell and it's like, we need to come up with a plan? Like they might have been speaking about, so like, I don't think he's going to be like rushing to do all this as soon as the season's over. I think they've probably already been thinking about names, thinking about an org chart.
You're giving them quite the benefit of the doubt.
If that happened after the Stanford game, that they're like, you're going to stay, but here's what we want.
I don't think they did that because I think Mike would have been a little bit more confident at the
How about
dais.
if you were to stay, we need a plan of what's going to change in your personnel department and what you're going to do to make this program not a laughingstock anymore. And so he's had at least 6 weeks.
I guess, but I don't.
I mean, he's had to have thought about it now, right? He can't wait until Saturday night at 8:00 to be like, okay, now what? And then rub his hands together.
Also, B. Benson asked, does our pending exit and buyout from the ACC play any part in decisions being made in the near term? I mean, I do think that's a factor because at some point in 2030, I think it's down to 75
million. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's part of, again, I know you can say it's a line item. It's $60 million with the additional assistant coach. It's a lot of money, especially when you're already paying off all the debt you're having to pay off, and you think you may be spending $75 million in a few years. So, yeah, man, I think that's all a factor.
Boys, we have to go.
Okay, we did it. What a show.
Wish everybody a happy
We're still
Thanksgiving.
friends. We're still good. We all love each other.
No, I don't like you at all. I thought my Norvell
gets personal with me. I can disagree with you and still love you. And I think this decision's
horrible.
You
suck.
But
you suck.
But it doesn't make me mad at you or you. It makes me mad at them.
So Kim asked me if I'm okay with no pumpkin pie this year because we usually I love pumpkin pie. Yeah. And she makes pumpkin spice bars, but everybody else had their own requests. So I said, you know what, we don't have to have pumpkin pie this year. But I'm starting to regret.
You're old. You don't need pie.
Maybe we'll go by the store on the way, like I'm doing.
Rhubarb.
Yeah, there you go. Goodbye, boys. Hey, bonus hour is a bellying up. It's coming up next. Stay tuned.